live under the influence of my friends. And if you've hung out with me, you kind of know I'm always sort of stopping you mid-sentence and like trying to find a pen to write down like, you know, that kind of absurd thing that you just said. And some people find that annoying, but then other people learn to carry a pen around with them and they just sort of hand it over. So I think that the reason for this behavior on my part is because I steal from life. And I think that any writer who tells you that their ideas sort of come to them through this like sort of vaporous, you know, fictional kind of aura, I think that's a lot of bull, because basically, you know, we take stories, we milk our friends' stories for all that they're worth. You know, it's the seedy truth, but we change names, which is a good thing. But in the end, I think that you know, you provide basically the best material out there. So I started thinking, you know, this is great to have friends that do bizarre things and to be able to put it down on paper, but just how does the novelist graft her idea? So I started writing about this, and I started writing about this a long time before I wrote Little Monkeys, because my book actually centers on a young couple, and they're rather uptight, and they're in this flailing marriage, and you know, I knew that this is what I wanted them, these were the people that I wanted to represent. So where did I get this idea? Obviously, I started by sniffing around the lives of my married friends, and all of their blighted hopes and dreams. Just amazing. In the end, I actually didn't have to look much further than friends of mine, married couple, Vivian and Martin. So Martin is a mild accountant. He was a mild accountant at an international firm, and he was actually among the first to be axed in the face of a looming recession. This is a while ago. So Viv and Martin had always been the type who, you know, they believed in the eventuality of marriage and children and mortgaging progressively larger houses. Paul, you remember Martin?
Very well.
Right.
Very well.
So, you know, they're mortgaging progressively larger houses that were fiscally proportionate to the trajectory of their careers. But several weeks into Martin's downsizing, we found out that he had actually taken up permanent residence on the sofa. So, as a voyeur or a writer, I found this really helpful and interesting. I wanted my novel to explore what happens when characters who are already in trouble devolve and basically do the wrong thing. I wanted to ask the question, what if we don't become a better person? What if we go wild instead of being brought into captivity? And I liked this idea, but I felt that what, you know, my book idea was lacking was this fleshy hook, a good plot kickoff, some physical action that could point my characters along their de-evolutionary path. So then, luckily, a month into Martin's layoff, the hook came, and I actually got a call from Vivian. He has killed a wild boar, she said. I heard Martin wrench the phone from Vivian's hand. It sprang from the bushes, he said, and I imagined his eyes were oddly gleaming and feverish. It ran in front of the car, and before I could stop, it was acrobatic. It didn't die right away. It got up and it charged me again and then dropped dead. I was frozen behind the wheel. Listen, I have never seen such noble, angry valor. Well, angry valor, I really like this thought, because Martin had not been angry when he lost his job, just stunned, like a domesticated animal who lost his prehensile twitch. He lay down in his pen. He ate what was brought to him. He packed on a belly and surrendered to the vapor of eventuality. Now, man actually started domesticating swine about 7,000 years ago. And the result is our pink farm pig. But here's the kicker. Even the gentlest of all hand-reared farm pigs, they have this enormous propensity to go wild, to become feral. So within months, if a pig escapes a pen, like a pink pig escapes a pen, convert to this state where it can exist in the wild. It becomes hairy, it grows tusks, and it becomes aggressive. So forgotten is the lovable oink, and in its place, uncouth grunts, ear-splitting squeals of alarm, and in short, it goes on wild. Well, I waited for Vivian on the corner, and she arrived on time, as usual, but she was not alone. With her was an enormous, shaggy creature. It left Vivian's side, and it bounded up to me, and it was snorting heartily in greeting. And then Vivian followed behind it, slightly out of breath, and she said, "I hope you don't mind if Martin joins us." So the three of us went for dinner in the neighborhood, and Martin ran ahead, and he was sniffing in the bushes. And I said, "He's certainly grown hairy." And I noted the enormous beard that kind of lifted in tufts from his face. And the planes of his cheeks were kind of like frazzled, you know, like the underside of a box spring mattress. Vivian nodded. He realized what a leash his corporate life has been. Does that mean he's not going to go back to work? Vivian flushed a shade of rose. He's busy at home at the moment. And she eased down the collar of her turtleneck to reveal a deep aubergine hickey, the approximate shape of a snout. Well, there was little discussion during dinner. Martin basically lowered his unwieldy head, and he plowed through his meal, and scoops of food were disappearing into the thick of the beard. During dessert, though, I did hear him rumble contentedly, like licking his utensils. And then when the check came, he squealed warm. But later, when we parted ways, I turned around and I gave him a little glance back, and I saw Martin was gently head-butting Vivian, and he was chirping and grunting as he sniffed her hair. And you know what the truth was? They were really happy. Martin had turned into a wild boar.